Hello, everybody. How is everyone? Thank you for the audio check. Our official sound guy for the official Shortwave channel, Rob. Nice to have all of you here. Going to do this. Yeah, okay. I'm going to do it with the tablet. Okay, everything's falling down. Just going to check the. Put everything I need here for the. 2497 upper sideband, Falkland Islands, VP8 LP. Let's check it out. 24947. Check it out on the MLA30 here. 4.947. Not hearing anything. I don't know if he's maybe stopped. You still hear him, Sheldon? 24947. Not hearing him. Maybe he stopped or moved to another frequency. Not getting him anymore or at all. Okay, so welcome aboard, everybody. Nice to have all of you here. And so we start. This is the Saturday edition of the live show. Of course, we are here on Saturday at 20 hours Universal Time to talk about radio and shortwave radio, radio in general, answer questions, have fun, tuning demands, find signals of all sorts, and just, enjoy what we all enjoy as a hobby, listening to the radio. And, we say it all the time. It's a solitary thing usually. We don't really have a lot of people that are, there's I hear something here. So anyway, we'll keep an eye on that. So anyways, nice to have all of you here, and we are here every Saturday at 20 hours Universal Time. Of course, for some of you that might have wondered why we are an hour difference, that's because Universal Time never changes, but local time did change here in North America as we moved to the summer, the daylight savings times for the summer. So, but UTC is always the same. If you live your life in UTC, it's the place to be. So nice to have everybody here. My name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. That's northeast part of North America. And we are here to enjoy talking about radio, of course. And it's a lot of fun. There's a chat room if you there's a chat room as we have some wonderful people there that you can go and join and say hello and ask questions. And we got a lot of newbies, a lot of newcomers to the hobby, and it's really cool to see that because this is the place where everybody's helpful, and it's really cool to have all of this great gang that just is here to have fun with radio. And I think be it you are somebody that's been listening for a long time, or you're a newcomer, it's you're welcome. And that's the cool thing about this. We've got a great gang. Apart from that, we do have a Facebook group. Once this is over, Facebook group is quite active, more than 3,000 members, and we have a lot of activity there, people sharing what they're listening to and so on. So it's pretty cool. What you see here is my Yaesu FT-DX10 transceiver, and we of course might use it during the show. Maybe send out some slow scan TV or something. We're going to see. Try to make contacts. Who knows? And of course, I have on my desk right now the AirSpy HF Plus Discovery, which is working on my gaming laptop. So I can tune the radio there also. So we can tune around different radios, see what's up there, and have fun. So welcome, everybody. It's nice to be here, as usual, on this Saturday edition of the show. Remember, we are going to talk about it, and I'm going to share it here again. We are going to have a Zoom event coming up in a couple of weeks from now. So if you want to see what everybody looks like, if you want to, know what and share with others, we'll have a little round table of the official Shortwave channel guys and girls. That's going to be pretty cool. So let me just go here. There we go. And we'll bring up the registration information and post it regularly so that I have it, so I can always there we go. Let me just get all the details here. I hate the way that the new let me just go here, change this to, there we go. I don't know, it's weird the way this is working. I'm just going to go here. Zoom. Here we go. We're going to find that. And here we go. We're going to let me just find a link. Zoom meeting, Zoom link. And here we go. I hate Gmail, the way that it separates the different messages and stuff. Here we go. So, hang on, I lost the Zoom link, official Zoom. Yes. What the hell? Okay, invitation. Here we go. I'm going to just take this and copy it so I can paste it regularly during the copy. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So, like I was saying, on Sunday, March the 26th, we will have a official Zoom meeting for the official Shortwave channel. Everybody's invited. It's free of charge, of course, and it's a great moment to see what we all look like. Even if you don't have a camera, if you just have, a microphone, come and say hello to everyone. So here is the link to the Zoom meeting. You are all welcome. So if you want to join, you need to register in advance. You click the link for the Zoom, and you enter your email and info, and you will have all the details to join in. It's at 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 hours UTC on Sunday, March the 26th. Hope to see as many people as possible. The last number I had was something like 76, 77 people were registered. Let's try to break that 100 barrier, at least see as many people as possible. So join in. It's a lot of fun. We'll have little round tables, see, ask what everybody's doing and who you are, and you'll get to learn more. There's a dimension that is different in a Zoom because you see people, and seeing people, well, kind of gives a different outlook and different dimension um, of who we are, and it's kind of fun to see everybody at the same time. So why not join? And I'll repeat this a few times during the show. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see you guys on the Zoom on Sunday, March 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 hours UTC. So what do we have? Let's go down. Saw somebody. Namibia V51WW on 14268. Let's try that. I am hearing. I seem to be hearing them on Namibia 15 on 14268 upper sideband. If you guys want to hear a ham station from Namibia, making contacts. I have a lot of interference right now because my neighbor is on his treadmill. I can hear him walk. When he's going to be off, then the noise floor is going to go down. So hopefully he's going to be a little better. But I have a lot of interference because of that right now. It's always the same thing. So anyways, nice to see all of you here. Hope you enjoyed the show today. We have Master Players Radio and Television Plus Gaming. Nice to have you here. Bobby Burgess, WA5107 SWL in Morgan City, Louisiana. KW 1161. Nice to have you here from Arizona. Shortwave Archive from Colorado. Matt will be back. Nice to have you here from Denver, Colorado. Rob, our sound man, is nice to be here from Phoenix, Arizona. Shannon Harvey from Greenfield Park, Quebec, just southeast of Montreal. Artist Out of Crafter's Kitchen. Nice to have you on board from Massachusetts and having a blast with the Onkyo receiver picked up at the thrift store. Yeah, for that price, it's kind of cool. And these are nice. I mean, anybody that had their own stereo in the good old days, these are just so cool. So cool. 32 bits. Nice to have you here from the UK. Ricky, nice to have you on board. Ça va bien? J'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. Nice to have you on board from a cloudy Calgary, Alberta. Robert Cross, nice to have you on board, my friend. What do we have? David's Radio Room, nice to have you here from Central Georgia. We have Richard Califano, nice to have you here. Still like a kid on Christmas morning with the RSP1A, having fun. That's cool. That's really cool. It is fun. The discovery of software-defined receivers is just amazing. John Hummel Newell, V5JHN, nice to have you on board. We have We have Skipwave DX. Nice to have you on board in the Catskill Mountains in New York. Fixed his bent up dipole from the storm. Cool. Back on the air. Back having fun on the radio. We have J Projects. Nice to have you on board. Jeff King. Nice to have you here from Jacksonville, Florida. We have DJW883. Nice to have you here from Southeast Pennsylvania. Chuck Schreiber. Nice to have you here from South Texas. KN5KVO. We have Max 2069. Nice to have you here. We have TV Dexter. Salut, ça va bien? J'espère que tu vas bien toi aussi. Not far from Montreal. We have KW1161. Warm in sunny Tucson, Arizona. Nice to have you here. Keegan DXer. Nice to have you here from Northwest Arkansas. We have Skipwave DX listening to Radio Marti 11860. Sheldon Harvey. So there was the Falkland Islands earlier that stopped. There's definitely is Namibia on 20 meters right now. Star Hopping. Nice to have you on board from Indiana. Greg Scherer. Nice to have you here from Illinois. We have Aerial Imaging. Nice to have you here. We have Jim's Radio Check. Nice to have you on board. We have Ricardo. Nice to have you on board from Portugal. Paul Steckler. Nice to have you here from California. Robert Varner. Nice to have you here. KC2TEL. We have Glenn. Nice to have you here from South Carolina. Stuart Joseph. Nice to have you here. Can anyone suggest an antenna for a Zenith transoceanic radio? Start by, I think for most people, if you can put just a piece of wire out there outside, it's the first thing that everybody tries, and especially on these old radios. Piece of wire outside. I don't know how well a MLE30 loop would actually be working on a Zenith transoceanic, honestly. Danielle Marc LeBlanc, nice to have you on board from the Shediac River, New Brunswick. Darren Rogers, nice to have you on board from, this is KB2AHS. Paul, nice to have you here from Vermont, VT Radio. BW Bacon, nice to have you on board, and 7BWB in Idaho. Joe Tyson from Apex, North Carolina. We have Stuart Joseph is in Maryland. Wessex Weather, M7WWX. Nice to have you on board. Pretty cool to have you here, my friend. We have Mark Cancelera. Nice to have you here. We have Kevin Murray. Nice to have you here, Kevin, from Windy, Wyoming. KK7HGD. We have Robert Cross says, I like your radio collection, Joel. At the start of the video. Yeah, instead of Paul the Cat, I forgot to choose the Paul the Cat picture that I usually use. So the radios were actually the top, the picture at the top of my YouTube channel. Tarek, nice to have you here from Cairo, Egypt. Trustin, nice to have you here from Newfoundland. Hope you are well. And yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with the time change, if it's the last one or not. We'll see that throughout the year. Francis Moore, nice to have you on board from Birmingham, UK. Andy New, nice to have you on board from the UK. Neil, nice to have you on board also from the UK. M0CJM. And southwest, in the southwest of England, in a caravan. Cool. All the best, and hope you have time to enjoy some radio there. Al, nice to have you on board from Westport, Massachusetts. We have anything else? Let me just go down. Bob Cantor 2000, nice to have you on board from Long Island. Iron Boy 36, nice to have you on board. We have Chastang, nice to have you on board. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Yep, definitely for everyone. I think there's a parade here in Montreal tomorrow, Sunday. Is it today or tomorrow? I think it's Sunday. Um, what else do we have? Chest Tank. Yeah, so Man Max 2069 been toying around with a talking house AM transmitter. I think our friend Keegan in Arkansas has one of those also. He's been retransmitting the international radio report through it, I believe. I'm drinking a little more. It's just once again um, cranberry juice and sparkling water. I went to a Muse concert on Wednesday and kind of screamed my vocal cords off. I might be drinking a little more. There's still a slightly BW Bacon also have an FTDX10 here in Idaho. If you'd ever like to give live QSO a shot, cool. We'll check that out. Robert Cross must make sure Zoom working on my laptop. It's not super strong. I want to see something here. And check out if I don't think I can make him a call because I was seeing if I would make a call, but he's starting to be too weak. So even if he gives me a signal report, I might not even know. So I'm gonna see, anyways. What else do we have? So, anyways, 14268 for those that would like to make a contact. Namibia, Victor 51 X-ray, I believe, is the call. Tarek, by the way, guys, the month of Ramadan will start on the 23rd April. Some stations in the Arab and Islamic world extend their transmissions. So, what else do we have? Good afternoon, everyone. Roberto Rojas, nice to have you here. Chuck Davis picking up something on 24947, maybe a birdie. Let me just go here. There we go. Be able to catch up here. There we go. Zoom meeting. Okay. Chastang says Zoom meeting was a lot of fun. Definitely. It's fun to see each other also at the same time. Richard Califano, Tree took off his Tram 1411, but the MLA 30 is okay. It's a tough thing. The MLA 30, mine has been what? It's fourth winter on the balcony. The same one. I've never changed it. Same MLA 30. Fourth winter in the balcony outside. Still works great. Danielle Mark registered. Thank you so much. It's going to be fun to see you guys here. Steve, nice to have you on board from Australia. It's been a long time. What else do we have? Robert Cross registered. Welcome aboard. It's going to be fun to see you guys. John Beckham, nice to have you here from Northeast Florida. Inman Radio, 38 lower sidebands. Lots of good today in Ireland. Cool. Ricky says here's a net with Filipino hams on 14277. Propagation yesterday and today on the bands are pretty amazing. Stuart Joseph just registered. Cool. Neil Rigby, nice to have you here from the UK. Tarek got a couple of EQSLs from Russia, Radio Rossi and Vesti FM on medium wave via Moldova last week, thanks to power outage. Cool. And Chas Tank is checking in from a cold gray Louisville, Kentucky. KSA Forever with H data D808 location in Qatar. I can listen to several US shortwave frequencies using 100 feet wire. I mean, I would guess because 100-meter wire would be kind of very long. Nice to have you here. And the XH data D808 is great little radio, honestly. Gervasio, nice to have you here from Northeast Brazil. Danny Shortwave Radio DX, nice to have you on board. What else do we have? Riyad Ben Smida, nice to have you here from Tunisia. We have Rich from Florida. Panama UFO, nice to have you here from Panama Canal Zone. Pretty cool. Iron Boy, what's everyone's average noise floor? It's very variable. Depends on where you live. If you live on the countryside with not many neighbors or in the middle of the city, here it's pretty high, but it's when I compare myself to a couple of others, it's okay. Not we deal with it, but it's rather high here. Victor Echo 2 Zulu India. Victor Echo 2 Zulu Italy. Victor Echo 2 Zulu Italy. QSL. Thank you for the 5 and 3. You are 5 and 4 into Montreal, Quebec, Canada. 73. Can you believe that, guys? I just made contact with Namibia, V51XX. SSB voice. Okay, I'm all happy now. Hey, first call, man. First call, and I got it. Okay, let me just add that to my log now. Okay, he gave me a 5-3. He gave me a 5-3. It's weak, but it's there. That's really cool. SSB voice, no FD8. SSB voice. V51WW, that's the thing. So V51 WW. Here we go. Add contact. Here we go. 29, 20 meters. SSB 14268. 268. 75.4. Received a 5.3. My power 100 watts. And here we go, guys. I've got Namibia SSB voice. This is cool. I had to try it because he was a little louder. I had to try it. Oh, man. Okay, I'm all excited now. You see how radio can be exciting? So, Namibia. There you go. It's not that bad. You guys in the US should try them, especially if you're on the East Coast. Okay, let's continue where I was. Yes, 100 watts on an end-fed V antenna in my backyard. Let's continue where I was. Try to catch up. What else we have? There's other captures says no idea what my lowest floor is, but it's high enough that the MLE30 makes a world of difference. Yeah, that's when you know your noise is high. When an MLE30 makes a difference, is because your noise floor is very high. Man Max 2069. Why don't you order it directly from Paul Steckler? Sorry. Why don't you order the D109 directly from the XH Data website? You can get it directly there, and it's pretty quick shipping and a very, very good service too. I would buy it there rather than AliExpress. Sorry. What else do we have? Keegan the Xer, yes, here's the International Radio Report on his Talking House AM radio transmitter on 910 kilohertz. So that's cool. Kevin, nice to have you on board from New Jersey. WS2H was thinking it would be nice if Google Translate could be linked to an SDR. I thought Radio China was broadcasting military secrets, but it turned out to be revised bus. Oops, I lost my spot. Back here, where was I? 16, that goes down. Yes, where was I? Bus routes. Yeah, so much stuff out there. Live translation of every language would be great to listen to shortwave, definitely. Let's see here. Denmark LeBlanc picked up Turkey on 9621 kilohertz radio Cairo 9900 around for March 7. I was pleasantly surprised being able to pick them up so early in the afternoon. Yeah, it's about the time that they come in usually pretty well at that time. Shortwave radio encounters. Nice to have you here. Jasmine, nice to have you on board. Do you use a bias T, which comes with the MLE30? It's a bunch of people talking about your review of it who were saying that you must be using a quieter bias T. Bias T in the MLE30 is quiet. Anybody saying that it's noisy, it's not noisy at all. And I've seen so many tests of it. The bias T is actually extremely quiet in that MLE30. That said, I use the bias T because I use a multi-coupler. And so I have to use it because the multi-coupler cannot power the antenna. If you have an SDR like an RSP DX, RSP1A, whatever, you can power it from that device. And some other people. What can make noisy bias T is two things. The power adapter you're using to power it. And I think a lot of people say it's noisy. It's noisy because the power adapter you're using is noisy, not the bias T. The other thing is, yes, there could be noise generated for one reason. They upconvert the power. So the power that the bias T from the MLE30 takes is 5 volts. It is it is converted to 12. And that conversion can actually create some noise. And I've seen that some people have mentioned that what they do is they have been able to, they modified it so that they could power directly the antenna at 12 volts. And they say that it did lower the noise somewhat. But it's a lot of playing around, but things that you can do. Sheldon, 83 people registered at this point. Okay, cool. Robert Cross thinking of buying a few modern portable radios. Why not? Jasmine says, been hearing a lot of Russian hams. I heard a ham in Moscow from here in Seattle on the MLA 30 plus strong signal. I have made tons of contacts in the last couple of weeks with Russian hams in Asiatic Russia and in East European Russia. A lot of hams. King of the Xer, originally I relayed the AM transmitter on my FM transmitter. Now I relay the FM transmitter on the AM transmitter using the Ethon Elite Executive SSB. Bill Miller, nice to have you here from Northern Ireland, MI0NUM. So yeah, that was cool. And Man Max says, I heard you on my ATS 25. Wow, cool. This is cool. V51WW in Namibia. First call. What surprises me even more is that first try. Bang, got it. I think my setup for a CD setup is pretty interesting, pretty amazing. I got to say that. What else do we have? So, what else? And I don't think I had Namibia before. Let me check it out here. It should have upped the, whoops. No, I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go here and go to the page here and go back to my logbook. And yes, it upped by 1. So it's a new country for me, Namibia. New country. And new country in SSB voice too, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Made it all the way down to Namibia. That was really nice. Shortwave radio encounters here where I live. I pick up this station called Radio Marti, located in Greenville, North Carolina. I'm sure you guys have picked it up. Yeah, it's a station that broadcasts towards Cuba. David's Radio Room. You're discovering the joys of amateur radio. Oh yeah, don't worry. I've discovered the joys quite a few time ago already. But man, it's this just amazed me that in the first try. Just the first try. So pretty cool. Panama UFO says Namibia, Africa. Wow. Nice job. Thanks, Aaron boy. That's just awesome. Yeah, it is. And Anna Diesel says 14268 LA8MGA is there also. John Newell says would not buy anything off AliExpress. It's a mixed bag. I know some of you have, and some of you have had some good experiences with AliExpress. I had only one, and it wasn't very good, but doesn't mean it's necessarily bad, RGA Dakota. Now that makes me reminisce of all those stations that I had heard from Southern Africa. Yeah. I have. There was that station from Namibia back in the day. Masters Players Radio and Television Plus Gaming. Congratulations on making a QSO without the fear of getting disconnected. Yeah, I wouldn't do that on every band, but it works there. It works there. What else do we have? Shortwave Radio Encounters. One time picked up something from Vatican City. Yeah, there's a Vatican Radio. Vatican Radio that is on the air that you can listen to. They actually have a very, very good news service for when you want to have news about what's happening in Africa. It's very surprising. Their news service, Vatican Radio, is very good. Mr. Squirrel, nice to have you here, upstate New York. VT Radio. Hot hearing the V51WW here. But my 20-meter dipole broke at one end this winter and is laying on the house. Yeah, you're going to have to fix that. Tristan, the noise level is very high here. A small city around 30,000 people. Further listening would not be possible without the MLA30. It's a must-have. Yeah, definitely. What else do we have? LW of Jax. I want a shortwave SSB radio, but also need weather. Should I go with the CC SSB 2 or Texan 330 plus another cheap NOAA radio? It depends if you want, the C-Crane SSB, the Skywave SSB 2 is decent. And you have NOAA and everything's integrated into one package. You have the air band also. So that's up to you. It won't be much more expensive to have a cheap NOAA radio and a Texan PL330 than it is to have that. It all depends if you want to have two radios or one, pretty much. Shortwave Archive. Jill, your video on BBC World Service possibly starting broadcasting on 11-meter band is interesting. Yeah, higher solar activity, I think that maybe they want to give it a shot. It's been a while since an international broadcaster used 11 meters. I can tell you that. Panama. My time is in London. My time is UTC, Universal Time. So Universal Time is what we use for radio. So that's what you see here. I'm looking in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. But because we use Universal Time, this is what we use, which is at this moment is the same as the time in London, except when the UK will go to daylight savings times, they will have 1 hour off from UTC. Michael Nanger says, awesome show. Thank you so much. Panama, Sony doesn't make shortwave radios anymore. They stopped a few years ago. Beam C Bike, nice to have you here. Just made Oman on 15 and 10 watts. Trying half square antenna. Congrats on Namibia. Thank you so much. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Antonyms. Do you think IA, what's IA, can affect radio in some way? Outside Crafters says, would love to hear BBC on 11 meters. Could it really happen? Well, they have registered French and Hausa language for Africa around 12 UTC, something like that. So that's going to be interesting to check out. Oh, artificial intelligence. I didn't. Do you think AI, not IA, maybe AI, can affect radio in some way? Well, it can affect the content. We already have some company that's trying to make some artificial intelligence content. So some AI content with AI, DJs. Kind of weird and scary when you think about it. So there will be some effect probably. Kathleen, nice to have you on board. It's nice to see that 3D waterfall in the back. Panama, UTC or atomic time? Well, when we talk about atomic time is simply because the clocks that are accurate are atomic clocks. So UTC is most atomic clocks will give you time, precise time, and UTC is use an atomic clock so that it stays as precise as possible. So it's using atomic clocks to make it um, as accurate as possible, mostly. Yeah, more AI with more computers and more power adapters and switching power supplies will make noise. That's for sure, for sure. Keegan DXer. I have the Eton Grenic Edition Field BT, Grenic Edition Satellite SSB, Executive SSB, Elite Field with BT, with Bluetooth, all set to UTC, which is the best thing to do, including microwaves and UTC. So you punch in and you come 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours later to get it. Paul Steckler, Brother Stare was an AI, and I'm not so sure about the intelligent part. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Imagine using AI to recreate that. Oh, God, please. Tony, nice to have you on board. Happy St. Patrick's weekend, everyone from the south coast of Ireland. Still in UTC time for one more week. Yeah, you guys next week are changing. Tarek says Radio New Zealand doing great on 13755 around 06 UTC here in Cairo. It's been pretty good on that frequency also here. Yeah, last night I went to bed at 0430 ish, and 15720 was booming in. It was so strong here. I was listening to it on the Yesu, and man, what a signal. It was great. Greg, nice to have you here. It says temperature 22, cloudy, and snow. So enjoy a indoor radio day, Greg. Kathleen, 100 likes missing. Panama says, so sad, sorry. Sony stopped making shortwave radios. I can buy 3 years ago in travel in Spain, but now no have more this model ICF M780. John Beckham, what is the station that broadcasts on 6105 usually at 10 p.m.? That would be if you're talking local time, that would be NHK Radio Japan from France. The 6105 is usually very strong here, and it's their Japanese service to, I think it's beamed to Central or South America, and it's from the Issoudun, France transmitter site. Man Max 2069 has seen a few modifications for the Talking House that vastly improves the audio quality. Some expands the bandwidth and even the adds AM stereo. Wow. Tony, besides the noise nowadays, improved house insulation is causing attenuation of AM and FM signals. So just moving outdoors can have having an outdoor antenna makes a huge difference. Definitely. Does make a huge difference. So, hey, I got Namibia. Any other DX going on right now? Starting to have fun with that. I will. Do you guys want to try to decode a slow scan TV? I'm gonna go call CQ on 15 meters, 21,340. I'm gonna check if the frequency is free. I'm gonna try 15, 21,340. 21,34. So we're gonna see. So 21,340. Prepare you guys. Prepare your SSTV decoding. I'm gonna be sending out a CQ here. We'll be sending a Paul the Cat picture, guys. Paul the Cat picture. Kathleen, anyone has the SAR32M active loop antenna from Greece, SV2CZF? I am thinking of buying it. I've recall seeing someone or seeing a video maybe about it. So I'm not hearing anybody. I'm just gonna do a little. Is this frequency in use? You got someone, Glenn? I don't hear anyone. You hear someone too? Maybe go a little higher. You guys want to try 21344? 21344. You guys hearing anyone? Out of curiosity, I'm going to see what's going to come out of it. Is this frequency in use? Is this frequency in use? No one mentioning anything about the frequency. Ricky has someone on 21343. On the East Coast, we have nobody. Could it be that you heard me, Ricky? Because I asked if the frequency was in use. I don't know if or you got an actual call. Tony ordered a D109, should have it Monday. I figured pay the $30-40 now so that it can be used towards XH Data developing more and even better radios. Also a big sale. But you know what? The D109 is good actually. It's not a bad radio. It's just you know, it doesn't like external antennas, but it's definitely a nice radio. So I'm not hearing anyone here. So I'm going to go ahead with the SSTV. Oh, BW Bacon says he hears a Parks on the Air station on 21343. Okay, well, let's try something here. Is this frequency in use? Does 21335, 21335, what does it sound like? I ain't hearing anyone here. 21335. So we could try to add one. ET Radio says it's clear. Gonna have to use one, so okay, we're going ahead. 21,335. And we're going to send a Paul the Cat SSTV picture. Here we go. Oops. And here we go. Yeah, 335, not 355. Yeah, okay, typo. Jasmine hears it. BW Bacon here's the picture. We'll see if anyone answers back. Yeah, ET Radio, Paul, you're probably very close, too close for 15 meters. BZN RLD can hear it on the Oregon coast. Sheldon Harvey hears 21,335 where he is. Did you play a little bit with it, VT Radio, the MSSTV? KW1161, hearing someone on boat 340 in Tucson. Okay, that's you're a little late. Jasmine hearing it with Faye in Seattle. And there we go. Strong's not strong. Yeah, you're kind of close. So you're hearing you're hearing the ground wave. Radio waves. I'm in the north of England. Can't hear it, but I have one bar on a whip Texan 660. Yep, it's done. Send the picture. Waiting if anybody replies back. Doesn't seem like it right now. Yeah, you too, Danny Shortwave. You're too close. You're in the skip zone. So nobody answering back really, which is not surprising since we're not centered on the usual SSTV frequency, but it's a try. Someone sending some slow scan TV on 14,230. Someone on 15,230 is someone's replying. Not hearing anybody on 21,335. Oh, okay. VT Radio is calling CQ. Okay. So that's why it's VT Radio. It's Paul that's calling CQ. Storm Radios and Cats here is strong in Kentucky. Zero Gluten, nice to have you here. So VT Radio seems to be having a good signal there. Osakama, nice to have you on board. There was somebody on 14,230 on 20 meters. So it's kind of nice. Nice to hear that the ham signal is going out there. Kind of cool. So MMSS TV for slow scan TV. There's Robot 36 for the Android devices. There's also a Slow Scan TV app for iPhone, iPad, which is by Black Cat Systems. So there's several ways of decoding Slow Scan TV. If you're using a tablet or a phone, what's nice is you can just put the phone or the tablet next to the radio speaker, and it works without having to connect directly. Victor, nice to have you on board. And we're an hour into the show. I will once again talk about a little something coming up. Hey, Mr. X. On March the 26th, at 1 p.m. Eastern, 1700 hours Universal Time, we will have a official Shortwave channel Zoom meetup. And so if you want to say hello, see what everybody looks like, and we'll be doing a little round table, going through everyone, saying, say hello, and see who you are, what's your radio, your favorite radio, and just have a different type of meetup, because what's happening on here is that we have a chat room, which is kind of nice, but seeing people in person in a Zoom or virtual, there's a different aspect to it. So we are going to have a Zoom meetup. Here's the link. Here's the info. So the official Shortwave channel meetup on March the 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 1700 hours UTC. You must register. So you click the link that's there, you fill up the questions, and you will have the information and the link to join in on March the 26th. Don't join it before. You'll just be waiting in the waiting room for nothing. So March the 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Eastern Daylight Time. That's 1700 hours UTC. It's going to be a lot of fun. So don't be shy. There's nothing to be shy about. And if you don't have a camera, you can join in just with a microphone. It'll be fine also. But it will be nice. So you can join in on the Zoom meeting on March the 26th. James Binder, nice to have you here. William S., what frequency for what? VT Radio says, Joe, I left the SSTV monitor on 10 meters all week. And even when I had the antenna switched to my beacon, I was picking up grainy images. So, okay. Sturm's Rages and Cats. I've been hearing a lot of traffic on Norfolk Southern Railroad using the VHF UHF ham rig. It's been interesting, to say the least. There's a lot of railroad communications. Even here, the railroad around Montreal and all the because we got a pretty extensive set of railroad tracks and railroad yards in Montreal, around Montreal. Quite a lot of communications also on the VHF and open, analog VHF for the most part, but lots of fun to listen to. What else do we have? Jasmine, I'm shy. Everybody's kind of shy in some way. Just join in. You're gonna see. We're not gonna be rough on you. It's kind of a cool little thing. Just say hi and that's it. Let others talk if you don't want to talk too much, and that'll be fine. Stars and Cat says, let's just say they're busy fixing things. I'll say no more. There's an interesting thing that has been talked about this week here in Montreal. There's a reactivation of a railroad track from railroad line from Montreal to New York City that I've been talking about. And actually, It sounds very interesting because I didn't know, but in the article they were saying that it's one of the best and most beautiful um, railroad path in the world to actually go to. So it goes probably goes from downtown here in Montreal and goes all the way to New York. Has I think they said it has 6 stops on the way, and takes 10 hours. And apparently, it's beautiful. And at the same time, you can go from Montreal and visit New York City. I gotta say, it is very, very interesting. And I was looking at that, I was like, that could be very, very cool to do. So I'm gonna check it out. It's Amtrak that's doing the the train from Montreal to New York City. So it's gonna be kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. Um, Meta Lunar, nice to have you here. Danny Shortwave, WF8WF, SSTV on 14230. Scan it with my Xiegu G90 and my phone using Robot 36 app. ADK, nice to have you on board. What are your thoughts on DRM? Uh, DRM is for me, and I think it is totally useless in shortwave, pretty much. I get the fact, the DRM. The problem with DRM is, first of all, you need a new radio. There aren't really inexpensive radios that do it. And most people that actually listen with fancy setups with SDRs and Dream software on the PC and so on. So what happens is that there's for me there's no future in DRM, and there's no future also because most of the DRM listening that I've seen is, unless the signal is extremely powerful and very stable, it ain't that great. You miss out on a lot, or it just doesn't lock to the transmission. But I could see DRM in a different setting. Like, I don't know if it's something that's still happening, but I know that several countries in Europe were thinking of using, for example, 25 megahertz area of the spectrum for local DRM broadcasts around cities in Europe. So I don't know if that is still a thing. Maybe that could be an idea. The other thing I hate about DRM is the fact that it's a very wide band. It's like it takes like 15 kilohertz of space. It's just a big it's a big QRM. It interferes with all the broadcasts next to it because it's too wide. If you wanted to make DRM, you had to think about having a specific DRM band or several DRM bands just for that. You're putting it in the middle of the international broadcast band where it easily interferes with everything around it. So personally, I hope DRM dies, especially on shortwave. It could survive, but if it could survive, maybe on local, like I said, a local band where you could have DRM transmissions in cities and stuff like that. But then again, it's not something that I could see very interesting because in Europe, you guys have DAB. That's your digital stuff here, and we have EG radio here in North America. I don't know if it could change to something else, but personally, DRM is a big. I don't know who's capable of pushing that way because it's like every time I hear somebody from some broadcaster, oh, DRM's the future. No, it's not, and you don't even know when you say that. You don't know to who you're actually sending your signal to. You're sending your signal to people that mostly have um, you know, already the radios. They don't want to buy something new, especially if it's expensive. And DRM into what? Africa and Asia? Yeah, really? Are you just seriously thinking about it? I don't think you are. And I mean, nobody listens in except, really, enthusiasts that just love to dabble in computers and listen to it. And there was never really there's no real cheap radio that ever did DRM. It doesn't exist. So it's kind of useless to have that personally. So these are my thoughts. King and DX was nervous on the first Zoom meeting, but it got better. Yeah, it's normal to be nervous, especially among when you have a lot of people that you've never met. It's like going to a meetup in person. There's a little bit of nervousness. You don't know anyone, and but I think we have a great I have a great way of um, making everybody feel welcome, and enjoy the Zoom meetup. It's a very relaxed thing, honestly. Mad Max 2069 trail derailments are why I wouldn't want to live next to railroad tracks. Yeah, you can tell that to a little small town here in Quebec. I bet you if they could get totally rid of that track, the railroad track, they would. What else do we have? Wessex weather. Where is your accent from? Well, I'm French Canadian, so first my first language is French. I learned English later. Doug Smith, nice to have you here from Virginia Beach. RJ Dakota. What accent? He speaks English better than a lot of people that I know personally. Man. As we have, let me just go down here. VT Radio says I have a railroad track across the street from me. We call it the wood chip train because it brings wood chips to the power plant in Burlington, Vermont. Oh, interesting. Interesting. Lunar Jill, I'm wondering if you have any ideas to overcome a very close medium wave station. I am a quarter mile from one, and it can be heard in the background on shortwave using telescopic. Could a detuned loop help null it out? Well, the biggest problem with that is that you're in a zone that's probably so powerful that the receiver, even with a collapsed telescopic, probably is picking it up extremely strong. I don't know what I could say if what could help you in that case. This is where more advanced receivers, and I mean like more expensive tabletop radios have an edge, is that they often are capable of dealing with extremely powerful signals around it. But on the biggest problem of portables, what is the nicest feature is the biggest problem for portables. They're pushed to their limit of sensitivity. And that means that in most environments with the telescopic, it's fine. But once you get close, like you are you're a powerful medium wave station, what happens? They just go berserk because they're just too sensitive. So I don't know. I don't know. What else do we have? What else do we have? Oh yeah, French Canadian French is different from the France French in a way. It's a different accent, that's for sure. We understand each other, but still. Michael, everyone better late than never. Nice to have you on board, my friend. Raking leaves and shortwave. DX Winger at our 836 is broadcasting now. I hear it on the Pardina SDR Can hear it in Pennsylvania now. Great signal. Let's check it out. It's coming in really well around 2200 the other day. Nothing right now, but if it's on, it probably will start coming in much better a little later. A little later. So this is gonna be something to check for. But right now, I don't really hear it. But last week, it was so powerful. It was really, really good. I really enjoyed checking it out. Chastang says the first Zoom was great. Great seeing and hearing everyone. Shelly, nice to have you on board. Hope you are well. King and the Xer, I sound like I'm from Wisconsin, as my dad is from Green Bay, though I was born here in Arkansas after he moved. Man Max says yes, Norfolk Southern has a train derailment a few days ago in Ohio, just right out of Springfield about a week before they had the pretty nasty one. Yeah. What else do we have here? RKMKLZ 8843 kilohertz. LAX and United Airlines and SSB at 1 p.m. Yeah, one of the frequencies of the for the air traffic. BT Radio, did you know that the QRZ map has your location in some lake? I never checked it. Really? Let me check it out. I've noticed that for many hams, it seems to be off. Let me check that out here. Let me check my call sign. So if we look at my call sign, let's check out the details in the map. You know, I'm in some weird place here. That's weird. I'm in Ontario somewhere. Probably the coordinates. Oh, grid square isn't right. FN04JM. Why is that grid square not correct? Is the grid square okay in my settings? Let me just go and check it out here. Edit page. What does it say? Map grid square coordinate settings. Okay, here we go. So right now, yeah, my grid square isn't right. FN 35EN is my grid square. There we go. Now let me save this. There we go. Thanks for letting me know. I had not noticed. I had not noticed that my it showed the wrong place. So let me check it out now again. So look at my page, look at the details, show map. Now that's not bad. Not 100% accurate, but not bad. That's as close. That's pretty close from where I am. That's pretty close from where I am. So now you guys are going to see it correctly. There you go. Fixed. Thanks for letting me know. I didn't know that it was a wrong place on the map. KW161, they need to update the codecs and radios to today's standards to make DRM work, plus having their own shortwave band. Definitely, they would need to have their own shortwave band. Robert Cross, what time is Zoom meeting on 26th March and UTC? It's 1700 hours UTC for the Zoom meetup. So for Europe, it's not too bad. You guys are like in the afternoon, late afternoon and early evening in Europe for the Zoom. What else do we have? Yeah, RK. The San Francisco International Airport's 8843. Here on the East Coast, I don't think I've ever heard one of the West Coast like San Francisco or anything here in the air band. I always hear here on the East, we hear, Gander and Newfoundland. We hear New York. Radio Waves loved Deuce Out, the TV series in the 90s. Okay, W1161, the least expensive radio that I had for DRM is the Tech 321D model. Yeah, just saying Tech is like, yeah, expensive. Ricky, I remember ordering lunch somewhere on vacation in France, and the lady I was talking to immediately identified me as Canadian. Yeah, this pretty much, it's kind of easy for them. DX Swinger, nice to have you here. PR 4470 Dallas, Texas. Nice to have you on board. My beverage is cranberry juice and sparkling water, as I am in my 1 year without alcohol. I did an exception to the rule because I went to see the Muse concert at the Bell Center, and I did take 2 beers. But that was kind of an exceptional night, so an exception to the rule. Penny C, nice to have you on board. From the same hometown as I am. Cool. Nice to have you here, Penny. Keegan DX are having Texas tea brand Poteet strawberry white tea. Cool. Hey, Matt, welcome back from Denver. You missed my contact in SSB Voice Live. I did a contact with V51WW in Namibia. First try. Guy called me back. So cool. Ricky says nothing from Larry 36 here, hoping they'll stay on late for propagation. Yeah, usually Saturday, pretty much always stay on pretty late. John says it seems like there are several inexpensive shorter models out there recently that are from brands like SH Data and Rongda, Raddy, and Zwis, ZHIWHIS. Yeah, I think, honestly, I think that's going to be the future of the models coming out. We won't see a lot of expensive stuff coming out in the market is much more for inexpensive radios. The lake QTH might explain my accent. Talking from underwater. What else do we have here? Andreas B, nice to have you here from Norway. Welcome aboard. And yeah, we reached, I think it's last week. Last week we almost got 200. We were 198 at one point in the live viewers, which wasn't bad at all. We maintain our 150, 160, 170 ish. Usually the stream itself after about 48 hours is at 1.5K. So that's 1,500 views. So it's not bad. Not bad. For a shortwave live thing. Yeah. Sunwave, nice to have you here from Central Oklahoma. Canadian radio TV guy, nice to have you on board from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Sherwood Radio Archive, have you heard the weird religious pirate YHWH from Mojave Desert? It was inactive since March, but has returned. Yeah, I've seen a few posts recently about that, the station coming back. I've never heard the station here. Maybe I'm not trying enough, but I've never heard it here. Jasmine says I can hear Gander in New York sometimes. So cool. That's cool. Ricky, the other problem with digital radio is licensing fees. Analog, AM, and FM are old school, open source, not owned by anyone. Where it costs money to put DRM and HD radios into devices. Yep, you have to pay a license fee. Absolutely. MDK2 says Matt says bummer. I'll get another replay. Yeah, first call. I was just so surprised. This Sheldon Harvey puts, hey, there's a station from Namibia. Like, get on there. It's like the guy, just as I'm hearing him, the guy just stops his contact with the other station, and I just kick in with my call sign. And it's like, whoa, it's a VE station. Wow, first call, man. I'm still amazed. First call, especially when there's pileups. And I was like, wow, first call. I'm the one. I'm the chosen one. You feel important. I'm the chosen one. But there is one thing that I know is often helping out for me, because there's a lot of US hams. Very often when a station making DX contacts hears anything else than a K or a W call, they will immediately go to that call. So I have the chance that when I actually send down my VE call sign, they're all like, oh, something else than US stations, there's something else. So they'll often get to that. So I'm probably, it probably helps in a pilot if I'm with a bunch of hams from the US. When they hear that call from Canada, it's like, oh, Canada, we'll make, another country. What else do we have? Yeah, DRM, I'm not sure if it is or not. I think maybe it could be an open source, but on shortwave, DRM is just not a good thing. BW Bacon, have you counted the number of different countries your watchers are from? Cool that your channel has such an international interest. I wish I would have counted that over the years. Since this year, I think at the end of this year, we're going to be at 10 years of live shows, which I never thought I'd be there doing this still 10 years later. And over time, I've had people from all over the place, even countries that I'd never even think that there'd be somebody in that country watching a live stream on the internet. So I can't say how many countries, but I can tell you that we've covered a lot of countries. And I wish I had taken note of that over time, like a list of countries, because it would have been nice. I was thinking of, oh, well, a map of whoever, all the countries around the world that somebody has ever joined the live shows, But there's been quite a lot of them. I can tell you that. Michael, my beverage will be a nice fresh cup of coffee. About 15 minutes still outside. Cool. Chastang, got a battery question. Friend pulled out the R108 after 2 weeks of not using, found the battery door popped off, and the battery swelled up. Thoughts? Defective battery. That's all I can say. Is swelled. Any swelled up battery that are like the lithium ion battery is a battery that just died. The battery was defective. I don't think it has anything to do with the radio. Really is a defective battery. So RKMKLZ says 730 kilohertz CBU, Vancouver, BC, Canada, coming in at night. That is QTH. Jim's radio check says that it happened to him that the batteries that come with that radio swell up for some reason. I just replaced it. Yeah, I think it's the bad batteries that's happening. I never had problem with mine, but I have several BL5C batteries. KW161 says, thinking of the old Bob and McKenzie song, 12 Beers of Christmas. Danny Shortwave says, YouTube analytics. Oh, yeah, that's something I've never checked for the live shows. Because it would tell me how many countries I've had as watchers, but I'm not sure you can divide it with live shows. I don't know if I can pinpoint live show, because on the channel itself, I mean, from all over the world, obviously there are people everywhere. But yeah, that's kind of interesting. So I got batteries. You can even buy them by packs on Amazon. So just be careful. One of the things that is the problem of what's the problem of the BL5C batteries, the 18650 batteries. There are guys out there selling ones that are, like they're going to say a BL5C for 5,000 milliamps. Doesn't exist. That's a lie. Like 18650 batteries, same thing. There's 8,000 milliamp hour. No, it can be. It doesn't exist. So be careful to choose, good brands and well-rated brands, because there's a lot of crap out there, and lithium ion batteries, both for the BL5C and for the 18650s that we use in our radios. 80K, does your SDR pick up subcarriers? I've never tried. I remember seeing a video using like an RTL SDR V3 that I have to pick up the subcarriers, but I have never done the process of doing it. I actually have a subcarrier radio here that receives the subcarriers from the FM stations. So, but I've never played with that on the SDR itself. But technically, it can be done. Yes. What else do we have? Smoke and Stream MXSW. Anyone out there have a counter 64 and have the SWL decoder that plugs in the back of the 64? I got a Commodore. If you want to send me that, I'll pay for the shipping charges. Send me an email, official shortwaveradio@gmail.com. I'd be happy to get that. I even would be happy to make a video of it decoding RTTY or something. So the email is official shortwaveradio@gmail.com. That is where you could send me a little something saying you got the SWL cartridge. I'll gladly pay the shipping charge up to here. I would like to have that. I'd make a video. I got a Commodore 128, which is compatible with Commodore 64. I had that cartridge, which I don't know where it went, where it disappeared over time, but I had that cartridge in the 80s, late 80s, to decode the digital modes. Vianney Arsenault, nice to have you here. Always nice to have you on board, my friend. Rotten Animal, please recommend a quality shortwave radio under 500. Texan PL, Texan PL 990 or Texan H501X, great shortwave radios. And they're half the price of that almost. You're gonna have some great radios with that. KWLN61 DRM supposedly went open sourced. Not sure if it applies to broadcasters. Well, they have to fit because it's not free anyways because they have to fit their transmitters with all of the equipment needed to do it. So there's a lot of money spent for that. Paul, nice to have you here from Southwest Michigan, KE8WMF. Nice to have you on board, my friend. What else do we have? Yeah, Danny Shortwave. It's been I haven't seen one in a long time. I remember seeing a few of them in the past go through on eBay, but they seem to be kind of difficult to find today. I don't think there's a lot of people that purchased it. No problem, Chas Tank. I was always curious what a FM station with a subcarrier would look like on the waterfall pattern. You have to really, um, you have to zoom in on the waterfall pattern, but you can see the info embedded within that signal. I don't remember exactly how they did it, but they were showing how you could see it and how to actually use I it was a complex thing. It used the sound card of the PC to actually have the ability to tap into that subcarrier thing. It was kind of complex to get into the subcarrier listening, but the video showed how it worked and how you were able to do it. RKMKLZ says NBS Newcastle, North Southwest Australia, 12:15 kilohertz, 10 p.m. from my part of the world in the Pacific. Sheila is in Belleville, Ontario, Canada. What else do we have? Rotten Animal from Toronto. You know what? Smoke and Stream today, it's all done in software. So you have your PC or your smartphone or your tablet, and all you have to do is install the software. It gets the audio out of the speaker through the microphone, and and it's done just with FLDG is one of the software for Windows, Mac, Linux. There's Robot 36. There's all sorts of decoders for Navtex, for RTTY, and so on, and that are for Android and for iPhones, iPads, and so on. But you don't need any equipment anymore except the computer and the software to do it. It's not like back in the day when you needed that cartridge because that cartridge had to have the audio input. Because in reality, that cartridge all it does is get the audio input and turn it into a digital signal that the computer can play with. Because today you use the sound card for the same thing, or the microphone of your device that automatically, the Commodore 64 and the computers of the day didn't have microphones, so you couldn't use that. But with the sound cards today, you use the microphone input, or like I said, the sound input of the card, and the software will do it automatically. Don Moment says that CBU is 690, not 730 for our friend RKMKLZ. So thanks for the correction. VE6JY. Tim Tyler, nice to have you on board. Always a pleasure being here. Greetings from Southeast Germany. Always a pleasure to have you on board, my friend. Jacob, nice to have you here, Jake from Colorado. Um, what else do we have? What else do we have? Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. Smoke and stream. Well, be able to make videos. That'd be kind of nice. Jamie Evans, nice to have you here. KJ4GDB, nice to have you on board. And Smoke and Stream is from Ohio. Nice to have you here. What is beverage antenna? Stuart Joseph. A beverage antenna is a extremely long wire antenna. A beverage, there's a definition. It has to be longer than a certain number of meters or feet. It's an extremely long antenna. Usually, people that put up beverages, first of all, you need a lot of space. Second of all, you need to have a lot of wire. And most of the people that will put up a beverage will mostly be the extras that are, um, trying to get signals in the lower frequencies like medium wave or long wave, as they're more sensitive. They're very directional also. So a beverage, because of it's extremely long, becomes extremely directional. So you will want to orient your beverage in a way that will favor whatever you want to DX on the radio band. But it's extremely long. A beverage is an extremely long piece of wire. Even when we talk about antennas and talk about wire antenna and long wire, well, often we say, "Oh, I got a long wire." Well, actually, a long wire also has a definition. A long wire, I believe, needs to be more than 100 feet long. So often when if I say you put a long wire outside, if your long wire is 25 feet, it's actually just a wire antenna. A long wire requires technically to be, I believe, more than 100 feet, and a beverage is like 300 feet or more. I don't remember the technical detail of the length of when you start calling it a beverage, but it is an extremely long wire antenna, and it becomes extremely directional. And of course, it is used to, like if you look at those DXers in Finland that receive these AM stations from all over the world and in North America, you'll notice that they're all using beverages that are positioned to pinpoint North America, so that they can actually hear all of those stations and the low frequencies coming from here. Now, the other thing about a beverage, it has to be in the middle of nowhere or almost nowhere, because you need to be in a very, very, low noise environment in order to put that up. But it is a very, very long wire antenna. That's what a beverage is. And, the serious DXers that are in their DX world out there, have their beverages and get some really, really exotic stuff on that. Pretty amazing. You need a lot of space, I can tell you that. So unless you can tell all of your neighbors that you'll be stringing a wire across all of the streets and the neighbor's street and so on, and that would not be a good place because it'd be full of noise. Usually they're in open spaces or in like in the forest almost anyways. And you got these guys, always when I hear the word beverage for an antenna, I always have this image of these guys in Lapland and Finland that have these really these DX cabin out in the woods, out of the northern circle, the Arctic Circle, and with these super long, antennas strung out across the woods. It's pretty crazy. So if you want to have one, you better have a lot of land to spare, because it's long, long, very long. Metalunar, I guess it's not a type of antenna, but that you put up after drinking a few adult beverages. No, you probably better be very, very straight when you put it up. Afterwards, you can have a couple of adult beverages to celebrate that you finally put it up. Oh, man. What else do we have? What else do we have? Others other crafters. I often refer to a long wire as a random antenna, as it's a random length, as opposed to a dipole cut to a formula calculated. Yeah, that would be the proper wording probably to use. A random antenna. Yeah, kind of. Because there's all the technical details, and some people are easily frustrated because we tend to not use a proper wording for all this stuff. But it's yeah, that random antenna. Yeah, why that would be a. I could almost say I've got a random end fed antenna in my backyard, as it's kind of experimental the way I put it up with it as a V shape end fed. But dang, I'm surprised at how well it does a job. I mean, I got Namibia with 100 watts. I guess it's working pretty good. My biggest problem here is always the noise. Uh, what makes me sad is calling CQ on a band and not being able to answer back to someone. And Because he's just not, he's into noise. And if I didn't have all of that noise, I would probably be able to make out the station, but noise prevents me from, answering back sometimes. So, my signal makes it. My signal makes it, but unfortunately, sometimes it's me that has difficulty, answering back to a station because he's just too weak. And if I didn't have all that noise, I'd probably hear him well. Um, Radio waves. Yep, you need a lot of land. That's for sure. Dwayne, nice to have you here from Tennessee. Chris C, can you clip onto a very long metal fence? It's sometimes it's possible. You can try it. It when I was a teenager, when I was starting out, there was a fence in the backyard that was very long because the metal pipe at the top of the fence. So it's one of those fence that was like kind of those square. It's like made out of square wires, if you want, or I don't know how the proper name you call it, but it's like squares, but it's actually like metal, tough metal wire, basically that's rolled together that makes the squares across the fence. Anyways, at the top there's a metal pipe that's holding the fence, and that pipe, I don't know why, for some reason all the neighbors had the same fence for like 5 or 6 houses down on one side, and the pipe was connected to all of that. So if I connected to it, I was connecting through the pipe to all the neighbors up to 5 houses down, 5 yards down. And on shortwave, it didn't work. But when I noticed that when I had my little Radio Shack crystal radio, if I'd clip to that with my little crystal radio, I would receive every single Montreal station on the crystal radio. Everyone, even the ones that were weaker, they were coming in. It was wonderful for that. On shortwave, it didn't seem to do or be effective. I tried it a few times and kind of didn't notice anything. But one of the things also that I noticed is that it was a metal pipe on top, but every every 12 feet or something, there was a metal pipe going to the ground. So technically, the metal pipe was also grounded. It was grounded and at every 12 feet or something, which wasn't technically necessarily making it the best antenna in the world, except it seemed that for that crystal radio is wonderful. Michel Colette, bonjour, bienvenue. Nice to have you here, Mike, in Ville de l'Abbé, Quebec. Bienvenue, VA2CO, VA2CO. A lot of, est-ce que tu fais beaucoup de radio amateur, Michel? You do a lot of ham. What bands and what are your modes, your favorite modes? You missed out on the earlier. I did a live. There was a station from Namibia, V51WW, on 20 meters, and I made a live contact with the station here, with my station. It was pretty cool. Welcome aboard, Mike. Let me just check it out here. Use a zip line for an antenna. Yeah, that would work. I mean, why not? If you, as long as nobody's going on the zip line, that would probably make a decent antenna. James Radio check. It's like a freezer here, 22 degrees. Forget your life. Beverages are low as well. Yep, they are in general very low. Have to be 6 feet high or less to work like designed. Definitely, they are very low. Stuart Joseph, I used to take Amtrak from Vermont to New York City, and it was very nice. Yeah, apparently it's very beautiful. So now they're going to start it again with coming to Montreal. So I'll have Montreal to New York. I'll be stopping in Vermont. I'm stopping at several places. Probably the same line that's going to extend itself to Montreal. Bruce Corbett, N9BH. Nice to have you here. I would say that probably all long wire antennas are random, but not all random antennas are long wire antennas. Oh, no, that's for sure. Radio waves. There was a guy in the U.S. used half a mile for long wave in 2010. There isn't as much on long wave these days, but more noise. Yeah, but you know what? With that long of an antenna in a quiet environment, you would probably easily hear all the European and Middle Eastern long wave stations on the left. Smoke and Stream says he's used a spiral notebook wire for an antenna. Yeah, anything. Chain link fence. Thank you, Storms Radios, and so page wire. Yeah, it's anyways. Chain link fence. Yeah, maybe that's the yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that I was saying. Forget your life. They're grounded at every post. So yeah, I don't think that would be a proper transmit antenna, honestly. For receive on certain frequencies, that was kind of nice. Joe Tyson, random wire antenna is meant not to be resonant on as many bands as possible to maximize its chance of being tunable by an antenna tuner. Metalunar, when is it necessary to ground an outdoor antenna, and does that help with noise? It depends on the antenna, first of all. Like, for example, I often get the question about the MLA30, or how do you ground the MLA30? You don't ground an MLA30. It's a magnetic loop. It's its own system. There's no grounded to be done on that. Now, in cases of antennas, often you will want to ground the antenna. But the problem with a ground, and that's the biggest problem with a ground, is unless you're very close to the ground already, grounding is not necessarily grounding. So, like here, I'm on the third floor. Grounding is impossible. It's a tough thing. I don't even know how I could, ground in any way. Water pipes here, which normally we don't even use as grounding for ham stations. Here are PVC pipes. So plastic doesn't work as a ground at all and doesn't work in conducting anything. So I'm kind of stuck in a way. Um, Technically, grounding of an antenna can work in and grounding of your radios or receivers, tabletop receivers. And by the way, you don't ground a portable either. They're not made to be grounded. But on tabletop receivers, often you'll see there's a ground screw or a ground terminal. My Yaesu FTDX10 has a little, ground pin in the back that you can hook to and ground somewhere. Um, to That can in some way lower the noise, yes, because often it will ground the shield of the coax, and what's going to happen is that's going to prevent all of the external noise that tries to get into the center conductor of reaching it. So it's gonna, yes, it can lower noise. It's not always the case, but it can, yes. And it depends on the antenna. It depends on your location. Grounding is a very complex thing. It's not easily explained. And I can tell you that I would bet that more than half of the hams that say I've grounded my station are not grounded because there's more to ground than just a metal pick in the ground and a piece of wire hooked up to the radio. It's a complex situation here, depending on your setup and how you can have access to all of it. Krishna Prasad, nice to have you on board, my friend. So and remember that grounding is not meant as too many people think that grounding is meant as a protection against lightning and stuff like that. It's not. You're not grounding your station for that purpose. Lightning is a different thing, and you can, yes, kind of help in lightning and preventing lightning from hitting your stations. But if a lightning strike falls real close to where you are, you're going to be affected, and it's not the ground that's going to prevent anything from happening. Chastank, years ago. Jonathan House, nice to have you on board from Brazil, my friend. Chastank, years ago, we used a 50-foot chain link fence, not attached to anything, and on top of the hill, got lots of new signals. Yeah, I'm sure. If it's not grounded or anything. Michelle Colette, I do it almost all. CFARS operator, contests, everything. Cool. So CFARS operator too. Oh, that's nice. That's nice. Man, it's really windy outside. Pretty crazy today. I'm hearing the wind. David in Barcelona. Yes, I saw your Twitter message with my QSL card. I saw it this morning. I had not checked my Twitter in several days. And when I posted the link to the live show here, I noticed that somebody had sent me a message. So glad that you've got the QSL card, David. Next step will be trying to make a single sideband voice contact. RGA Dakota, the first antenna project I had was a chain link fence. It was awesome with my crystal set. I not only found every local station, but quite a few clear channel stations from outside. Yeah, they work magic for that purpose. Marvin Mott's nice to have you here from the Japan Islands. Others Auto Crafter says some have used the aluminum gutter of a house for an antenna. Yep. I remember a few months ago hearing a ham talking on I think he was talking on 15, and he had a hard time putting up any antennas because of the homeowners stuff, and So he hooked up his ham rig with a tuner and a ballon, and was tuning his gutter. And he actually had a pretty decent signal here. And he said it was the only thing he could do to actually still do ham radio stuff. And you got to do what you got to do in the conditions you are. One of the toughest things about ham radio, I am lucky here. Nobody says anything. I've got wires outside. I've got MLE 30. I've got, man, I've got stuff that people see from everywhere. Nobody never ever complains about anything. I'm kind of lucky for a guy that, you know, lives in the city, but not everybody has that chance. A lot of people are like, yeah, I'm stuck with, I can't put a wire outdoor. I know a couple of people that, one of the friends of mine can't put any he lives in a condo, can't put anything outside, anything. He actually makes ham contacts with a wire that he's been able to put up indoors in one of the rooms. And man, he's worked I don't know how many countries. And he says, "Look, it's the only thing I can do. There's nothing else I can do." And he's got tough conditions because he got a lot of noise because of that. We got to try to do the best we can. RKL remembers CKLW on 800 kilohertz winds on Ontario. Made it to California. So here in Montreal, we've got CJ80 on the frequency. So forget about any DX on 800. Storms, rains, and cats. Trees are grounded but have been used for transmit antennas on ham. Yeah, but it's not the same because the conductivity isn't the same as, a metal rod. So, but I remember seeing something about the U.S. Army using trees as a antenna for transmitting. Marvin Mutz, the biggest factor in shortwave listening is like in real estate, location, location, location. My farm is 10 times better without extra antenna because of lack of noise. Yeah. Good. KWLN61, make sure you don't clip your wire to an active electrical fence. Yeah, that's something to take care of for sure. Yeah, KW61, a chain link fence. I didn't know what the name was in English. Well, barbed wire will work. You just got to be careful not to get tangled in the barbed wire because that's not going to be fun. Funny story, a little story with you guys here, a little outside of radio. I don't know if I talked about it. So when my dad had the shack up north, we would go out, especially when I was, a young adult. We'd go out up there with friends, and sometimes I'd go. One particular friend would go there all the time because I didn't have a car. He had a car, and he was going to see some friends around that area. So often in the weekends, it was like, I'm going up if you want to go to the shack. So it's like, yeah, let's go up. And so often he would stay at the shack with me, and we'd make a fire, have beer, and eat like pigs. With it's always great to eat on an open fire. It's like the food is great, especially when you're outside in the wilderness. So, anyways, there's a small small road. Now today they have asphalt on it, but back in the day it was a gravel road. It was not asphalted, and there was not a lot of traffic there. And so what we would do is sometimes when we get a little drunk at night, around midnight, 1 a.m., it's like, hey, let's go for a walk on the little gravel road. And we'd go for a walk. And of course, we could hear the cars coming from a pretty far distance. So we'd move out of the way into the side of the road if we'd hear a car because, they wouldn't see us until they were on us almost. It's like, and especially these little roads, out in the wilderness. People know the roads. They're like, people live there, so they like go really fast because they know the road by heart. And so we're on the road, and it's that night we maybe drank a little too much. We're on the road, and my friend tells me, I said, "No, I'm not sure we should be on the road. I kind of feel, a little too drunk." And I'm like, "Okay, let's go back." And as I say that, he trips on a rock. And at the level we are at, the road goes down at least 12 feet from the road to a farm where there's some cows. But he has this really huge glass of wine. I mean, the big glass of wine. So all I hear is ah, and it's like, he's down. I mean, he went through trees and everything, and I'm like, oh my God, we're in the middle of nowhere. The closest house is like 5 kilometers away. If something really bad has just happened here, I don't know, we're gonna get some help. So I start going down the road to try to see what's happening, and I said, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And he says, as I move the trees, as I cross a barbed wire fence, he's sitting on his ass in the field with like 2 cows 2 feet from him. And all he says is, "I'm fine, but I got no more wine." His glass is intact, didn't break. He just has no more wine in it because he spilled it out somewhere. And I'm like, wow, God, nothing bad happened. He did have a couple of cuts, but it's like, oh God, I'm so happy nothing bad happened. But he actually went through trees, over a barbed wire fence, into the farmer's field next to a couple of cows. And I'm like, okay. And we could see it because that night was a full moon, so we could see everything at 1 a.m. And I was like, oh God, let's go back, because I just almost had a heart attack. Anyways, end of story. Sorry for boring you guys with that story. It's just a little souvenir from the day. I was maybe 21, 22 years old at the time. Vianney Arsenault, what kind of a HF antenna? I'm using a end-fed V-wire. So it's actually the story with my wire, my antenna, Vianney, is that I got as a gift from someone here on the channel a half-wave end-fed antenna with a 49-to-1 balun. So I put it up in the backyard, and I was using the Yaesu FT450 back in the day, and it was okay, but I wasn't kind of happy. I thought, well, I don't seem to be that great making contacts. And when I did the special event station for the CIDX club, that's really when I was kind of going crazy, because I was calling CQ, nobody answering back. And I was like, okay. Now today I know that it's not the antenna necessarily, it was more the radio that I was using. The FT450 had some faults. But anyways, still, I was going crazy as, nobody was answering. So it was like, okay, I'm going to try something. I took out 100 feet of wire that I had as a roll, and from the balcony, I threw it in the neighbor's yard's tree, and it got stuck in there really well. And so I took the wire, cut it just the right length, and I added that wire to the end-fed, the half-wave wire. So now it's a V shape that's going out, with one, which is the original wire going to the end of the fence in the backyard. The other one is going in the tree, and it's probably longer than the one that's going to the fence. When I did that, I was making 10 times more contacts suddenly. There seemed to be a real improvement. And since I got my Yaesu FTDX10, Man, I go to these pileups with tons of stations, and I'm there like really a couple of a month ago, 3 weeks, a month ago, made a contact with Mongolia. Today, made a contact with Namibia. First call, dang, in a pileup. So you know what? I'm not touching anything because it seems to work extremely well. Coastal waves and wires. I think the one thing many radio folks misunderstand is the difference between electrical grounding and RF ground. Yeah, because there is definitely a big difference. Metalunar reminded me since portables don't need to be grounded, I have a wire connected to the center tip of a 3.5 millimeter plug to the antenna input. What does the base of the plug connect to? Do radios use it? So in your case, what you would like with that, because the base now you're using just the center. Usually, what you would want to have is that the base would be connected to the shield of a cable, and of course the tip would have the center connector of. So the center connector is the antenna going in, but you technically want to use usually a shielded cable because the shielded cable, the shield around that center wire, will actually shield you from radio frequency interference around it. So usually what you want is you would like to have a wire outdoor, but bring it in through a shielded cable. But now that shield, you either want to ground or find a way to clip it to something. Here in the backyard, what I do is I clip it to the metal shed that I have, which seems to work very well in creating some, effect. Um, that will actually help lower the amount of noise that you get through the center connector to that tip. So usually when you connect a cable, the shield is connected to the base, the tip is connected to the antenna, and that shield is connected in some way to either a ground or something that is going to help you lower the noise. Radio wave strange with modern tech and my old Granic satellite from the 70s. Everything is clear when plugged in an extension next to my laptop. Fred Waterer, good afternoon. Nice to have you here, my friend. What else have? KW1161. I live on a property surrounded by wire fences, both chain link and barbed wire. However, all neighbors make too much electrical noise to make it useful. Yeah. And today would be probably not very useful. Bruce Cobert, hasn't the 10-meter band been great? Yeah, I've been doing a lot of contacts to Europe on it. A lot of them. I can tell you that. And yeah, listening to the 10-meter band is fun too. Definitely. Greg, on my Eton Elite Executive on the receiver, it is not on Executive on the receiver. Look, it is not on the DEB. What is DEB? I don't know what you're actually trying to say. If you're talking about DAB for digital, well, that radio does not have that. The Elite Executive does not have DAB. It's not a digital radio. Radio waves. My girlfriend has LEDs around the washing line. Gives me noise. Oh yeah, definitely. Jamie, look up NOA Buster antenna. It has good reviews and it uses your gutter for the ham frequencies. David says, awesome show. Being able to see your own QSL card and someone else's QTH definitely has a cool feeling to it. So I thought you'd also enjoy it. And yes, next step is SSB QSL. Oh, definitely. It's kind of fun to see that you guys are getting my cards. Rotten Animal. I'm 66 now. When I was about 10, I built a radio and used a metal fence on the antenna and it worked. Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely. Jasmine heard a guy making contacts who said he had a Yagi in his attic because of homeowners association. Yep, there's a lot of that going on. Jazz Tank, take care, my friends. 73s, and have fun at your dad's birthday. My birthday's coming up Monday. I'm nothing special, but on Monday I'll be 54. Adam Lozo, I need to put 20 feet of wire to get to my edges. From here, I want to run the wire down 50 feet. Is this going to help my signal, or am I in the wrong path? Try it. Is all I can say. Try to have some antenna outdoors. You want to try to bring that in, if possible, through a shielded cable, though, to lower the noise around you. Radio Waves wants to get a mile of wire and a huge helium balloon. Then you'll get the U.S. Army to shoot it down. KW61, the sandy soil and my QTH makes RF ground difficult. King and the Exer heard CKLW on 800 in November 2015. I remember when Paul Schaefer and David Letterman mentioned CKLW in the late show with David Letterman in the early 2010s. Yes, Montreal Canadiens. They're really rather crappy, but hey, we still support them. Tim Taylor, Germany, 80-meter band, full open tonight. I have a nice contest. KWM61 says, your video where something struck your house wall made me jump on one of your recent videos while I was listening to your video. Oh, the video when I'm with the radio in the back in the kitchen, the two radios I'm comparing, that's the back door. So I usually never lock the back door because Paul the cat or Mignon always wants to go out. So, it's just open, close. And I only lock it when I go to bed. So it was very, very windy that evening. And man, when that when that wind went really, really, really strong, it just pushed the door open. I was like, whoa. It surprised me also, I'm going to tell you that. Video Radio just made a 10-meter SSTV QSO. Made one last week too, but it wasn't logged. Wow, cool. First SSTV since about 2001. Congratulations. Jasmine, that ground must have been soft. Yeah, well, it's kind of a marsh, marsh, wet, especially at that time of the night. It's like there's been all the mist kind of fell down. It's like everything is wet everywhere. It's like, oh man, it's just crazy. Greg, if you mean DAB, DAB is digital audio broadcasting, and it's what the European use for their digital audio. Krishna Prasad is SDR stick supported on Linux operating system. I know that the RTL SDR v3 is with specific software. So let me just try to go down here. So VNA, wow, so good experience with the antenna. Oh yeah, I mean, it's like, it's just by accident. I just threw out that 100 feet of wire. It's like, the hell with it, I'm going to try. Also, what it does, which is nice, because the end fit I had, the radio was the audio tuner, could tune 40 to 10 meters. You don't want to tune anywhere else. When I put that second wire, now the audio tuner tunes from 80 all the way up to 6 meters without any problems. The only band I can't do is 160. Now, I could, because one of the funniest thing about the setup is for a couple of months I was set up in the kitchen. The coax I was using was 20 feet long to the antenna. I actually could tune 160 meters when I was like that. But when I changed and I put the 80 feet coax up to the shack here, because here in my office and the antenna is completely outside on the back, I had to use 80 feet of wire outdoor that goes and makes a next to the building. That removed it doesn't tune 160 anymore. But you know what? It tunes 80 to 6, and they're very happy. 80 is not the best. I have an SWR, standing wave of 2 to 1, maybe 2.5 to 1 sometimes. Variable, depends on the days. But most of the bands are pretty good in general, and it's kind of cool. Works well. Anyways, I made a lot of contacts, SSB, and all of that. That Mongolian station, SSB Voice. I mean, I do a lot of FT8, but I take much more pride in actually making, like today, Namibia SSB Voice for me is much more of a achievement than doing it on FT8. FT8 is nice. It's kind of cool, but it's kind of boring also at the same time. So when I do an SSB voice, an SSB voice, it's kind of more fun. There's more of a challenge to it. So it's kind of cool. My antenna seems to be doing a pretty nice job. Spacebar, nice to have you on board, my friend. What time is it now? We're at 6:21. Wow. So, man, time flies. It's like, I think there's just been a flash of 1 hour. So I don't hear, by the way, 15476. I don't hear tonight. LR8, LR836. What else do we have? KW1161. Yeah, okay. That's saying hello. What else do we have? Francis Moore. What about bird strike on a long wire as it's so thin? Would you put tassels on it to prevent harm? I've never encountered or seen any birds hit or have a problem with it. If it's something that you're worried about, yeah, why not put something on? But I can't say. The only funny things I've seen with birds with my antenna is that my wire is not very thick, and there's been some birds that tried to land on it, but because it's too thin, they just can't hold. Or if they hold, they're all like unstable, which makes it more funny than anything else. But I can't say I've ever experienced or seen. Of course, it could have happened and I didn't see it because you don't look at your wire 24 hours a day. But I can't say I've ever seen a bird striking the wire or all of that. But you could technically put stuff on it to, make it more visible. The problem with that is that a lot of people will put up a wire and want to make sure it's invisible. So that invisibility also means that it could probably, maybe have birds hit the wire. It's sure a thing that could happen. That's definite. If it doesn't matter, if where you live, it doesn't matter if everybody knows your wire's there. Yeah, you could put stuff on it to make sure the birds see it. Yeah, that would be, it's something never crossed my mind, honestly. But yeah, definitely. Thank you for the birthday wishes, guys. TVDX, were the cows laughing at your friend? I'm sure if cows could laugh, they probably would. It was just, oh man, After the big stress moment of, oh my God, something bad is going to happen. Seeing the guy on his butt in the field, okay, just saying that he doesn't have any wine anymore in his glass, and looking at the cows and everything is like, yeah, okay. Once the stress goes down, but I'm sure the cows could have had a good laugh with that. Um, Storm radios and cats. My birthday is next Thursday. I'm somewhere towards the middle of my 50s. Well, happy birthday, my friend. Not far apart. Fred Water, one of the benefits of being my friend is you're still a young fella to me. Yeah, I get that all the time. It's like, yeah, you're still a young guy. Yeah, well, it's funny because the class that I'm following at the college here is like they're all like, 17, 18 years old in there. I feel like an old, really old man. Yeah, the old man is following a course with you young guys. Oh, man. It's all a question of perception. So when you're 18, it's like, that 40-year-old guy is so old. And then you're 30, it's like, well, 50 or 60-year-old guy is so old. And then you're 50, is like, yeah, 80, 90 is old. I don't know. It pushes, when I'll be 80, it was like, 100, that 100 guy. It's just pushes us for as you get older. And of course, internally, we don't feel older. We're still kind of, I know I'm still in my head. I always joke. I always say the same thing. I'm always, when somebody says, do you feel, young inside? And I say, I've actually, physically, I'm 54, but mentally, I still don't have the age to the drinking age. So I can't go mentally, I can go into a bar. Ricky's receiving Trenton Military, 15034. Let's try it here. 15034. Yeah, actually making it on my Yeezu. Receiving it on the Yeezu, the Trenton Military weather, 15034. Spacebar, I've had more birds hitting my sitting room window than my wire. Yeah, that happened here. My window here is really big. Over the years, I would think that at least one or two birds every single year hit my window. It happens at least once or twice. And that's been happening every year since I lived here. Spacebar, try doing SSTV, not a reply yet. Yeah, try regularly, especially 14230 is the best. It's the best place. Merci, TVDX, sir. Jasmine, that was a great story. Oh, man. Not an animal story, not boring. It's great to hear stories from the past. Yeah, that one was something. Vianney, 15476 last week. Actually, we had it real well. LRA 36, which is the station in Antarctica. It's on the Esperanza base at Arcangel San Gabriel. It's a Argentinian research station that's in Antarctica. Last week we had a really booming signal. I was listening to it here on the Yeesu. So I left it there today because apparently they're still transmitting today, but it's not making it today. Last week it was really, really good. Try it regularly. 15476 upper sideband for the Antarctic station. Spacebar FT8 is a great method during poor conditions. Right now, take advantage of the good conditions on the bands and get on SSB. Yeah, definitely. Forget your life. Birds have good eyes. Yeah, but sometimes, they kind of move fast, so it's easy for them to not see it, you know. No problem, Stuart Joseph. Happy to do so. What else do we have? Thank you for the birthday wishes, guys. Yeah, hopefully. I hope to be here to annoy all of you in 10, 20 years through our live shows. I'll be the guy annoying you in 20 years. It's like, yeah, that guy. Been doing it for 30 years. The brother stare shortwave. um, Take care, Greg Scher. Always fun to have you on board. Before some of you go, remember that on March the 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 1700 hours UTC, we have a meetup. Here's the details. If you want to see what everybody looks like, don't be shy. Join us. And I'll be doing a round table with all of you guys, asking you, your favorite radio, how long you've been listening, a little introduction to of everybody. It was really fun the last time, and we'll go through everybody again. You don't have to, talk for an hour. Just a little intro of who you are, and that's it. Don't be shy. I know that it's not necessarily something everybody's always, um, comfortable with. So what you do is you click the link that I just posted, fill out the information, and you'll receive an email with a link for the Zoom meeting that we'll have. Zoom works on every device that you own. It could be on a phone, it could be on a tablet, a PC, and you can just join and say hi. If you don't have a camera, it doesn't matter. You can say hi. You just use the voice, so you don't have to absolutely see you. But it'll be cool to see everybody. We had 83 people a little earlier today, so hopefully we'll have more. And that's coming in 2 weeks from now, on March the 26th at 1 p.m. Eastern. That's 1700 hours UTC. So why not join in the Zoom? It's free, and it's gonna be fun to see you guys, as we did for the first time last year, and they'll do it again now. I like the KW1161 says, "Happy birthday, you young pup." Spacebar. Spacebar said, "Yeah, exactly what I was saying. It's like if you make your wire visible to birds, you make it visible to people, and sometimes that's not what you want. That's for sure." Danny Shortwave, cows are probably staring at him, saying, "Just look at what dropped in." Yeah, yeah. Probably saying, those humans, they can't even stay on their 2 feet. Richard California, what I'm getting myself for my birthday, nothing really. I'm not gonna do nothing special. I kind of celebrated a little bit my birthday at the same time. Went to the Muse concert last week and went out for a few beers after and came back home. Was like, yeah, but that's kind of my birthday. It's gonna be very quiet. Nothing special. Storms, Rages, and Cats. Someone asked me, how does it feel to be 55? I said, I don't know. I've never been this age before. Oh, man. Jasmine, I was picking it up earlier on 15034. 73, Tristan. Radio wave saves the birds. Yeah, definitely. If I know, but it's a good idea. It's something I never thought of for the birds. Thank you, Bobby, for the happy birthday. Khalid Wave. Hello. Nice to have you here, Khalid. KW61 not picking up 15476 yet. Yeah, usually I hear it. If it would the signal would make it, usually I would be hearing at least a little bit. I wasn't hearing nothing, but absolutely nothing. Um, Jasmine is hearing Trenton military now too. Khalid, reception is not bad right now. Actually, that's not today. It's on Monday. It's Monday. Um, Richard says a bird flew into my brother when he was riding his bike and got a black eye. Ouch! Ouch! You know what? The funniest thing that happened to me. Well, wasn't funny at the time, but people just laughed their head off. We are biking. We're a bunch of guys. We're maybe 10 or 12 guys. We're biking together. There's a bunch of seagulls, but they're so high up that they're little, white dots moving together. Believe it or not, from that height, one of them pooped on my shoulder. All I felt was tap. Then everybody looked. It's like, wow, you got poop from one of those seagulls from that high on your shoulder, and everybody was laughing. It's like, well, I don't know. From that high, maybe I should get a lottery ticket or something. I was like, yeah, and there was a lot of it too. It was like, oh god, disgusting. Artist Other Crafter says I should give myself the gift of another radio. Oh man, yeah, they can't look everywhere. That's for sure. Fred Water says, Jill, the last day's prophet of radio. There'll be tons of people watching saying that channel. That's the guy that's still talking about some ancient technology of the old days that doesn't exist anymore. David says, I've actually had the experience of literally running nose first into a closed and very clear, clean patio window, thinking it was open. Yeah, I can feel the pain. Yeah, a week from tomorrow. I said a couple of weeks. It's a week from tomorrow. You're right, Keegan. I don't know why it's a week from tomorrow. Jasmine, yes, I saw Muse and yeah, the Evanescence too. There's OK Rock, Evanescence, and Muse that night. I saw them on Wednesday night. It was great. It was really really good. King and the Xer. My dad is 83. I'm 26. Hey, young. That's young. 26. Mike KN6FXR. Nice to have you here from California. Dive bombed by a bird. Thank you, Michael, and your son. What's your son's name? Arctic Circle. Nice to have you on board from northern Sweden. Yeah, no LR 836. I've been trying earlier and I hear nothing. I'll try it again just to see. can't say I hear anything. Last week it was really good. Today it's nothing. Absolutely nothing. Hey, Mad Radio DXer. Thanks for the congrats and the happy birthday. Storm Raiders and Cats was riding a Yamaha dirt bike in the woods and was clotheslined by a tree branch. Knocked me off and left me out of breath. Yeah, that must really, really got. That's like fraction of a second, and it's you're on the floor. David, I laugh about it now, but at the time it wasn't so enjoyable. No, I can relate to that. Oh man. So hey guys, I will be signing off for today. We've been on for 2 hours and 40 minutes. Hope you enjoyed the show. I want to get some fish sticks and a couple of things to eat for my for supper, and I've got quite a few things to finish. I haven't yet finished the editing of the International Radar Report show, which I need to absolutely do and send into CKUT tonight. Also, do the YouTube version. So, kind of a night's work for me. So, and I'll be listening to the radio, posting a little bit of the stuff that I hear on the Facebook group, if anything interesting. So, thanks everybody. Always nice to have you on board. And hey, keep listening to SSTV. You never know. I find it so funny when I saw the SSTV image of Paul the Cat show up on Facebook this week. It was just so funny. You never know. You might hear me on voice. You might hear me on SSTV. I'm doing a lot of ham stuff actually. So thanks everybody. Always nice to have all of you here. And Arctic Circle says my copy of LRE 36 fourth 3 now. So yeah, last week it was much better. So propagation is very different this week. And remember that next week Sunday we're going to have our new schedules. Steve 0432, thank you so much, and nice to have all of you here. Take care, my friends. Stay safe, and see you soon, guys. Love you all.